welcome everyone. I'm Jason, this is Leslie.
Hi.
And this is Patrick and
Nice to
Candace. And they are the owners of Sailing Electra. Electra is the name technically, but the channel, Sailing Electra.
Yep.
And they have been so gracious as to host Leslie and I. We are on vacation here in Athens, and so we connected through their channel, and Patrick said, well, hey, if you're in the area and want to do a little drive, come on out. And the little drive turned into a massive drive, and it was not anything from them. We actually took navigation from the app and wound up going up a mountain and down a mountain, and it was terrifying, but we made it. Now, as far as what we're looking to do, we're looking at solar electric boating, specifically on catamarans. And Patrick, if you ask me, is if we can use a Star Wars analogy, you'd be Yoda. Yoda.
Yeah,
and I'll be Luke. And
Excellent.
and so, as long as you can speak like Yoda, we're going to be golden, right? No, just in all seriousness, Candace and Patrick have done an amazing job refitting their Cadillac
Yeah, it's
catamaran
1976. Yeah.
76, and it's all solar electric. And we saw their channel and went, that's exactly what we want to do. Let's just pretty much copy everything that he shared in his video and that she showcased with the design elements, and we'll be happy. And so for us to have the privilege of being here was just the cherry on top of a bucket list vacation. So we're glad that you're joining in as well, and hopefully this little collaboration here turns into something we do on an occasion.
You never know.
Never know. All right, tell us a little bit, Patrick, Candace, what are y'all's thoughts about solar electric boating? You've done this for how long?
I know we've been busy now. This is our third season, right?
Third season.
Now, where were we in the first two?
Maybe we need to give you a little bit of a background.
Please do.
So we're from Johannesburg, and Johannesburg's in South Africa, and it's completely landlocked. And we are not sailors. Patrick had done a skipper license.
Yeah, I knew I wanted to live on a boat one day, so I thought it might be a good idea to be able to sail one. Yeah.
And I had no intentions of ever living in a boat, but I knew I wanted to live an adventurous life.
Nice.
And we embarked on this journey because our dream boat that we wanted, we could possibly only afford when we retire. And when it was the days of COVID, we realized that life was just too short, and Patrick's life had changed because his work situation changed.
Yep.
He went remote, and we thought, let's do it now.
Yeah, so we saw a great boat for sale in Croatia. Pictures were beautiful. Fantastic boat. Everything worked apparently. And, it looked good, and it looked like we'd be able to buy a boat with 2 diesel motors and test it out for a while. And then I got to the boat myself to check it out. And firstly, I smelled diesel walking onto it immediately. The whole boat smelled like diesel. And I don't know if you know, but Candace has a superpower.
She has
super smell. I mean, it's the weakest superpower there. But literally, I mean, she can smell anything going wrong. So, mold in the neighbouring boat 3 doors down.
So living on the sea, that comes in very handy then.
Yeah.
Makes his life living hell.
So, I mean, there's no way she would have stepped on a boat that had diesels. It just wouldn't have happened. And running them, when you got the fumes coming out, it would have been difficult. So when we saw the diesels were seized, it was a huge deal. I always dreamt of living on a solar powered boat because I thought the one type of craft that you can make, so you can't make cars solar powered. Kind of keep the batteries topped up if you want to. You can't make most things solar powered, but boats is the one thing that works.
Because you have the real estate.
You've got the real estate, and they move slowly.
Yeah.
A typical sailboat speed is 4 or 5 knots, and if you want to go 4 or 5 knots, you can either put up, I'll tell you what we spent on sale soon, or you can run a small electric motor. And boats move incredibly efficiently at low speeds and incredibly inefficiently at high speeds. And so a sailboat at sailboat speeds is very easy to push along. You haven't had your boat in the water now, but when you get your boat on the dock and you want to move it forward or backwards, you just you push it with hand force. It doesn't take a lot of power to move it.
Slight nudge. How much
Yeah.
power are we talking about there?
So in terms of moving this boat, the slowest we typically go is 400 watts in total. So 200 on each motor,
200 on each motor.
which is nothing. I mean, you can
Yeah.
you can create that on a pedal bicycle if you go to the gym. And
Oh, if you do a pedal-powered boat, please let me know in the comments. That would be fantastic. I will follow that.
and that'll move you along at 2.8 knots. That's kind of the slowest we go.
So 200 on each, 400
2.8
total.
knots, yeah,
You're moving.
maybe 2.9. Yeah, if you're lucky.
Awesome.
And 400 watts is no power. I've got 8 solar panels. Each solar panel is 400 watts. So for me, on a typical sunny day, out of 3,200 watts, most of the day I'll be making 2,000 watts.
Oh my.
We make excess electricity.
So we're wasting power now.
So we will heat up our water heater twice a day just to, and we heat it up in the morning just to
Keep it ready.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Loads of extra power. So we normally make enough sun in summer to go 5 knots. And
Now, how much power are you putting into the motors to go 5 knots?
2,200 watts.
So that's 1,100 each. That's still not that much.
It's
I mean,
not
these are
much,
6
yeah.
kilowatt motors.
Yeah, I've never taken them there.
That's so fascinating.
But to go 6 knots, I need 7,000 watts.
Interesting. And how much would that impact your speed?
So 7,000 watts gives me an extra knot above 5.
Look at that. That is the coolest thing.
Yeah, so
That's the stuff we've talked about on my little proof of concepts that maybe you've chimed into. I mean, the channel's growing, so I'm assuming someone is. Extra power all the way up there doesn't equal that much more speed, and you find that to be
Almost
true.
none, yeah. And you'll never do it because you don't know the difference between 5 knots and 6 knots. You can't feel it. You don't really see it when you're traveling.
Fascinating stuff there. That's your smart brain can figure that stuff out. Mine cannot. I'm just glad to know it and go, got it.
And here's the thing, I didn't know it. And that's the reason I've got a mast and sails.
Interesting.
I didn't know how well it would work. I thought I would be, so the biggest sailing channel that runs electric is Sailing Nomad.
And they are awesome.
They're brilliant, I love them. But they don't have enough solar for motoring.
Yeah.
So they use their motors to get in and out of water and they
Yeah.
sail. And I thought we were going to have to do that.
And they're kind of a classic sailing couple,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
that's what their passion is. So there's room for that. That's fine. But I like what you said when we first came aboard.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact wording, but it was in a certain amount of time in the near future, everything's going to be electric.
Yeah, sailing will become a hobby. Horse riding is a hobby, you know, because if you want to go A to B, you have a motorcycle or a car. But if you want to go horse riding, you go horse riding. So,
Yeah. Because you have a passion for it, and that's
Yeah.
great.
if you want to move a boat around at 5 knots, you have a solar boat. It's just cheaper, it's easier. We spent all our electrics, when things were still expensive 3 years ago, was 13,500 euros.
Wow.
And our sails and rigging was 20,000 euros.
Oh,
And we motor
Oof.
95% of the time.
yeah.
What actually happened with our rigging is that we had organized somebody to sort out our rigging, and it was going to be done before our very first season, before entering the water. And he started doing the work, and the last little part of it, we discovered that
Couldn't use the sails.
we couldn't use the sails, and
Oh,
that
no.
the mast had corroded.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And Patrick had invested so much money into the rigging at that stage, and he needed to make some like a really big decision on whether he would actually put the mast up or not.
Yeah.
And I said to him, you know what, you've always wanted to have a sailboat. That is why we're here.
Yeah.
We changed our whole lives so that
Oh,
you could
good
have
for
a
you.
sailboat.
Yeah.
And you've invested X amount, I don't know how much you had done at that point.
Yeah.
That it doesn't make sense that even though you're doubling it, that you now remove the mast. And that was the worst advice I could possibly have given
It's
to
called
Patrick.
the sunk cost fallacy. I don't know if you know about the sunk cost fallacy.
No, tell us.
It's basically your people are getting more and more willing to throw good money after bad the more they've thrown at bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
But it
why are you
wasn't-
looking into my soul when you say that, Patrick? Oh Lord, he sees me.
So our first season we didn't have sails. We were a motorboat.
And we didn't think that we were going to enjoy it, and we
Yeah.
loved it.
We thought, okay, we're going to motor from A to B, and we probably won't get very far, so we'll stay in Pula, the city where we built the boat. And It worked so well. We were just, we were sailing in, we were motoring into wind, and the sailboats tacking backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. And we were leaving them behind.
Yeah.
And we had no noise, because we weren't spending any money.
So you've got the benefit of the sail and no noise, and the same speed.
Yeah, no noise, no spending money, and in fact sails are quite expensive to replace, which we learned as we've gone along. But you get all the benefits with none of the drawbacks.
Thank you for watching part 1 of this conversation about solar sailing. In upcoming episodes, the crews of sailing Electra and Sol Seeker continue sharing practical experiences, tips for success, and their inspiration for pursuing what once seemed impossible. Please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe to both channels and hit the alert button so you don't miss a thing.